You put on all the weight, actually.
Starting on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving at Christmas, and then it stays with you, and then next year you gain even more weight.
Gravy. Okay, go ahead and check out that little extra you're now carrying around due to Thanksgiving. Now imagine what it might be like in January after Hanukkah, Christmas, and every other celebratory moment that features food. This and much more from Gastronomy as more, or Gastronomy and Gastronomy. And more as we welcome back for the house call, the Newsmax Deputy Health Editor Nick Tate is here in studio. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Ate too much as usual.
Good, okay.
Went to the gym the day after. So.
Good to see. Yeah, right, like it's going to be a big deal. Everybody says, I'll go to the gym the next day, I'll work it all off. It doesn't work that way, kids, trust me. I want to get around to that, but there's some really important and really exciting news, first of all, before we talk about the Thanksgiving issue here. The HIV virus is evolving and becoming less infectious. That is a stunning find.
It is. In fact, Oxford University is reporting this week that, in fact, HIV, as it mutates and evolves, has become more of a watered-down virus. What this means is that for a great number of people, the virus takes a longer time to develop to become full-blown AIDS, and critically, it is less infectious, meaning it's harder for it to spread. Now, why is it happening? They really don't know, but they think that the longer the virus has been infecting humans, the more that it's changing, and one of those changes has actually been positive in some cases.
Well, is it just happening simply because we know that this happens in nature? Things evolve, but I don't think we ever expect it to evolve during our lifetimes. We expect it to take a long time.
What's really extraordinary with viruses like this and other pathogens, they do evolve fairly quickly. If you look at the flu, for instance, influenza evolves year to year, and it changes and becomes either more lethal or less lethal. This is one where we're just benefiting in the role of the microbiological dice here.
All right, second thing when it comes down to vaccines, the Ebola vaccine, we've talked about this for months now, pushing things forward. This apparently is one of the experimental drugs that has now passed a safety test.
That's right. There are 3 drugs that are being investigated, 3 vaccines that are being investigated, one pushed by the NIH, another by an American drug company, and the third by Canadian researchers. And they found that this one in 20 people, this vaccine boosted the body's anti-Ebola antibodies and the immune system's killer, what are called killer T cells that target the virus. And so now they're going to expand it to beyond the 20 people that it's found to have been effective in and tried in larger groups of folks in West Africa. So this could be kind of the key to moving forward and not only treating but also preventing Ebola.
Is it fair to say that because of the push, because of Ebola here in America and all the publicity that it received and the people here, that this is happening at a much faster rate than it normally would have?
No question. In fact, a lot of the research the experimental trials have really bypassed the usual FDA hurdles or red tape, depending on your perspective, and they've moved quickly, and what they're finding is that this particular vaccine has had pretty good success, so they'll now expand it to hundreds of more people and see what it does.
All right, 2 pieces of good news. Now the lead story. This kind of caught me a little bit. Researchers saying that you can be overweight and perfectly healthy. Explain that.
Okay. The technical designation of overweight that they're looking at comes from the BMI, the body mass index. And
right.
what the researchers are basically saying is that even if you are overweight according to the BMI, which is a measure of the ratio between how tall you are and how much you weigh, you can still be healthy if you eat a healthy diet, if your blood sugar numbers are good, your cholesterol numbers are good, your other vital signs are good, your heart rate, if you're getting regular exercise.
Wait a minute, sir. I'm going to stop you here. Look at some of the pictures we're seeing right here. I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but we are looking at an obese nation that is sitting here right now in so many ways. Kids are heavy, adults are heavy. How can you possibly be healthy carrying all that extra weight?
Well, this is not a license to be very overweight or obese. There's no question about that. The obesity is linked to heart disease, certain cancers, diabetes, and other health conditions, including Alzheimer's. But the question is for those people who are kind of on the borderline, who are just a little bit overweight, who the BMI says you are overweight, you should be looking at other things than just what's on the bathroom scale. You need to be making sure you're getting 5 fruits and vegetable servings a day, getting to the gym every day, 30 minutes a day, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, doing something to manage stress. It's a more complicated picture than just stepping on the bathroom scale and saying, I hit the mark or I didn't.
30 minutes every day in the gym and 8 hours sleep a night. You've never worked in television before, have you, Nick? It's obvious.
Those are goals. Those are goals.
Those are unreachable goals for anybody in this business, trust me.
You're right about that. You're right. You and I know that very well.
But that's okay. No, it's good. But at least, there's something that you do need to look at, because you and I have talked about this. In the BMI, you and I are both overweight.
Yes, we are.
There you go. And we're not. The good news here about a lot of this health, smoking is now at an all-time low in America. we've seen this coming for a long time, it seems. Are people getting smarter, maybe?
I think it's a couple things. I mean, the new numbers that come out from the CDC show that about 18% of Americans are now smokers. That's down significantly by about 3 million people from what it was just a decade ago. I think it's two things. I think it's the success of the public health messages. If you give people straight information on how they can be healthy, they'll pay attention to it and follow it. So I'm obviously, as a consumer health reporter, I'm a big advocate of getting the information out there that's helping people live better and live longer. But it's other things too. I think it's people are trying to be more healthy in their everyday lives and turning to alternatives that are not tobacco. E-cigarettes have come on, and in some ways e-cigarettes have replaced conventional tobacco. I think that that's a factor.
But we still don't know about e-cigarettes, right? There's still a lot that they're testing at this point, so we don't know about the addictive quality of it or the health quality, because that's the first thing you hear from those users. They'll say, wait a minute, this is healthier.
Well, that is true, and the research shows, there's no question if you do a comparison to tobacco cigarettes, conventional cigarettes, and e-cigarettes are healthier, but they may indeed pose hazards of their own. The best thing is not to be inhaling anything but clean air into your lungs.
I like that very much. Okay,
Yeah.
got about a minute left here. A study comes out saying football players suffer brain damage from even mild impacts. This seems like a common sense sort of thing.
It does. The key to this study is the question, of course, we've known for a long time that there have been concerns about concussion and connections to Alzheimer's, depression, Parkinson's, and maybe even domestic violence in some cases. This research shows that these refined high-tech MRIs that can now be done on the field can identify those players who have brain damage that have not reported that they've had concussions, who don't fall into the category. So it could identify that even mild concussions cause brain injuries, and that can help people decide whether this person should get back on the field and play or get treatment and follow-up. So we're getting closer to the point where we can say, that's a safe hit, that's not a safe hit, you're okay to play. You must sit on the sideline and track your condition.
And this is not even getting into soccer, where there are head hits, and also there's basketball, there's hockey, there's so many other things. Baseball even had a study that came out where they talked about the concussion issues there.
Track and field. I mean, really, people fall. It's brain injury for not just football.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask and just make sure we get this right out of the way right now. You are going to the gym after today. You are getting your 30 minutes, and you are going to get 8 hours sleep tonight. Right, Nick? Oh, great health God that you are telling us.
That's my goal, but I'll be leaving here about 9 o'clock tonight, so we'll see. Maybe I'll see you there.
9 o'clock at night? He's a funny guy. He's got no real sense whatsoever.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
Nick Tate, author of the Obamacare Survival Guide. Stick around, short intermission. Back with today's news from Wall Street and our gym schedules as well. Coming up right here on MidPoint.